You know that feeling when you're caught in a massive thunderstorm? That sense of awe, the sheer power in a crack of thunder that feels like it shakes the very ground under your feet. Well, what if that sound, that incredible immense power, was what the voice of God actually sounded like? Today, in this explainer brought to you by the UNFIJ in Jesus team, we're jumping right into Psalm 29. It's a hymn that paints this incredible picture of God's majesty through the lens of a giant rolling storm. So, where does a psalm about a powerful storm even begin? You might be surprised. It doesn't start on earth. It starts up in the courts of heaven with a powerful call to worship. This psalmist is commanding the mighty ones, and yeah, that's most likely the angels themselves, to do one simple thing: give the Lord the credit for the glory and strength that are already his. Think about that. It's a call for the most powerful beings in creation to recognize the source of all power. So right from the start, the point is clear. Worship begins by understanding who God is, all-powerful and perfectly holy. And just like that, the scene completely shifts. We go from the calm of heaven to the churning waters right here on earth. The storm is brewing, and we're about to hear that first thunderous boom of God's voice as it rolls in over the sea. And there it is. The voice of the Lord is the thunder. The psalmist, probably looking out over the huge Mediterranean Sea, isn't just seeing a weather pattern. He sees this storm as a direct announcement of God's magnificent glory. It's not just noise, it's a declaration. And listen to how it's described. This voice isn't just loud, it actually reflects God's very nature. It's inherently powerful, and it's full of majesty. So every single clap of thunder is a reminder of the incredible authority of the one who's speaking. Now, as the storm crashes onto the land, we see this power just build and build. God's voice doesn't just pass by. No, it shows its absolute authority over the very things that we humans think of as strong and permanent. Man, the imagery here is just so strong. The voice of God doesn't just, bend the cedars, it shatters them. This is an incredible display of overwhelming force against something famous for its strength. So you gotta understand, in the ancient world, the cedars of Lebanon were legendary. Seriously, they stood for national pride, earthly power, something you thought would last forever. So by showing God's voice effortlessly breaking them to pieces, the psalmist is making a huge point. Anything we rely on for our security that isn't God, our career, our status, our own strength, it's as fragile as a twig before his power. And hey, have you noticed the repetition? The phrase, "the voice of the Lord," shows up 7 times in this one short psalm. Now, in the Bible, the number 7 is a big deal. It often points to divine perfection, to completeness. That is not an accident. It's a way of showing that this display of God's power is absolute and perfect. And the storm's intensity just keeps growing. The flames of fire here, that's talking about lightning, forked and zigzagging across the sky. This just shows that God's voice commands every single part of the storm with perfect, absolute precision. So as the storm hits its peak, shaking the whole landscape, it pulls one single universal response from all of creation. The storm moves on, shaking the empty wilderness. Its power is so huge, it literally causes animals to give birth out of shock and strips the forest bare. And after all this incredible power, what's the reaction? In God's temple, both the one in heaven and all of creation itself, every single voice cries out just one word: glory. It's really the only response you can have to a display like that. Okay, now just as the fury of the storm starts to calm down, the psalmist switches gears to show us the one who was in control the whole time. After unleashing all this power, God isn't shown as some chaotic force, not at all. He is seen sitting on a throne, calmly reigning as king over all of it. And his reign isn't just for a little while. He is king forever. He is in complete and total control of the very chaos he commands. Now you have to pay close attention here, because this is a huge detail. The specific Hebrew word used for flood is mabul. Now that's the very same unique word that's used for the great world-changing flood back in Noah's time. The psalmist is making it clear. God isn't just king over a thunderstorm. He is king over the most catastrophic, destructive force imaginable. And this is where it all comes together. The psalm takes this cosmic, massive display of power and brings it right down to a deeply personal level for God's people. This is the incredible ending.
The very same God whose voice can shatter cedar trees and make mountains skip, he doesn't turn that power against his people. Instead, he gives them his strength, and he blesses them with his peace. It's a beautiful contrast, isn't it? The God of thunder offers us inner calm.
See, this ancient psalm isn't just a poem about a storm. It's a promise. The God with thunder in his voice is on your side. So the real question is, how do we apply this incredible truth when the storms in our own lives start to rage? Well, first, we ascribe glory. Just like the angels, we start by admitting that his power is way, way bigger than our problems. Second, we have to listen for his voice, and the primary way we do that is through his word, the Bible. Third, we trust his strength. We make a conscious choice to rely on his limitless power, not our own limited abilities. And finally, we receive his peace. It's a gift he's offering, that supernatural calm that only comes from knowing the king is on his throne.
So, the next time the winds start blowing and the thunder starts rolling in your life, remember Psalm 29. The same God who commands the storm is offering you his strength and his peace. The only question left is, will you listen for the voice of the king?